Alright, this is where the party's at. Pandemonium Quest and the sailing skill will become available later today. Hey, how goes it? In this video I will share my favorite highlights from the first month of sailing and pitch 2 ideas on how to improve one of the core mechanics of the skill. You'll find timestamps both in the description and on the video scrubber. Early doors, my feelings were that sailing was mechanically intuitive, which I was happy with since I feared that it maybe would not be. And also, sailing was very social. And in the first few days, that for me was the best part of sailing. Since originally, interacting with others was a core component in MMOs, but today it's often more of a thing of the past. In the first days of sailing, the socializing was constant. Interactions were funny, people roleplayed and just said, "Hey, how are ya?" while you passed each other at sea. People were excited and just nice to each other. I also really enjoyed working up to the new quests and immediately going to complete them with no guides and just getting completely immersed in the stories. And as a matter of fact, I very much enjoyed the writing in those quests. Oh shit, that's the quest! Okay! Oh, so they left us on a cliffhanger. Charting new areas, landmarks and navigation points was incredibly exciting. It was sort of like a chore, but an addictive chore. And since it was the first time sailing around and seeing these areas, it was just a blast really. But I believe that there would be potential for expanding the role of charting in sailing and have it not be a one and done thing. Because while it was satisfying to see the numbers go up and the captain's log fill up, I for one found it a little sad that once I had charted something, that was it. You could argue that the uniqueness made it special, which I do understand, and it leaves me excited for future expansions of the skill. But sailing perhaps would benefit from a repeatable way to gain experience by charting interesting artifacts at sea and scanning areas through the spyglass and by following the... well, maybe not following the duck, I was not a fan. You know what, while you're at it, maybe scrap the drinks too, those were a headache. The mermaid puzzles on the other hand were a fun challenge, albeit a little nonsensical at times, though the plugins do solve those easily now. Having to get the raft for some tasks was, well, you know what, maybe it wasn't the worst thing. In retrospect, the raft only areas were a nice touch, even if it was slightly frustrating in the moment. Generally though, getting your flow interrupted while charting, whether it was by the weather charting or the dangerous drinks or drinks that teleport you away, getting interrupted was really the only unfun thing about charting. Oh, cheers. But here are the 2 ideas on how to make charting a more repeatable experience. So both of these are based on the idea that going to explore the seas because you heard there might be something exciting and cool there is both immersive and thematically accurate for sailing. First, and this was something I saw on Reddit, a post from Boulder Falcon suggested sailing rumors where, similar to hunter rumors, an NPC would point you to a phenomenon or place at sea that you would then have to investigate and bring the information back to them. In this case, the charting objectives would of course have to be either instanced or forestry-like temporary events. And then the second idea I want to present here is sailing clue scrolls. An entirely new tier of clue scrolls that would give XP for completions and could give sailing related resources and collection log items. And possibly be a part of the shared clues log and a new way to get master clues. Again, very thematically appropriate for medieval sailing, and receiving XP for completions would detach it from other clue scrolls. And while I do understand that that too could become repetitive and sailing already has plenty of collection logging, it is something to think about and a direction that I hope Jagex will explore in some capacity down the line. Anyway, overall I'm very happy with the sailing skill. Those were the ideas for this video. Enjoy the rest of these highlights, and of course, do leave a comment if you either strongly agree or disagree with the ways to implement charting as a repeatable activity in sailing. The final spyglass task. Give me the XP drop. There it is. That is finally everything fully charted. I am now the captain of all the seas of Gillinor. Now for the final XP drop. Let's get some training. 200,000 experience. That is a nice XP drop. And then let's hope we get some collection logs. Whoa! Alright. That's a gilded plate skirt. That is the first ever gilded item that I have ever got. And let's look at the collection log at this moment. When we look at clues and we look at hard treasure trails rare, and that is the first entry. Alright? Another collection log. And the final one. And then for the elite one, you never get anything from elites. A duplicate page. But a gilded plate skirt, that is incredible. 65 million farming XP. We're getting up there. That's 550 Hespor KC. We are climbing the high scores. Like I said, I have very much enjoyed sailing's first month in old school RuneScape. It's given me a fun break from the main game, but I think it's now time to continue my road to max / learning bossing arc. Or, in sailing terms, to go back to being a landlubber. Or maybe I'll stay at sea and get the 99. Who knows?